Hey guys, welcome to my channel Joe Boy Techie and Merry Christmas to all of you. So I was looking to buy a smartphone gimbal and I didn't want to spend a lot of money since I have never used a gimbal before, and after a lot of research I finally came to the conclusion that I should purchase the Hohem iSteady X, which is priced at 5,990, which is quite good in comparison to other smartphone gimbals from DJI, Zhiyun or even Moza. Now it's funny because when I went to the offline market to buy this gimbal, most of the guys they had not even heard of this brand, taking into consideration the fact that this gimbal is used worldwide and there are a ton of videos out there on YouTube. One of the main reasons why I bought this gimbal is that you can use the wide angle camera from a smartphone without worrying about the fact that a part of the gimbal will be visible from the back. And in my case, I'm using the Samsung S10 Plus, where the camera placement is a little towards the gimbal. But if you're having a latest smartphone, you don't need to worry about that because most of the cameras are placed towards the top, so you might not have issues with the wide angle camera. So when it comes to the unboxing, I noticed that the packaging was quite decent and it didn't feel like those cheap fancy boxes. So as soon as you take off the plastic and slide the box out, you'll get a mini tripod that also comes with a rubberized base so that you get a good grip while shooting. Then you get the gimbal itself that is quite small in size, feels very compact and feels quite premium despite the all plastic body. Then you get a wrist strap, a USB Type-C cable, a quick start guide, and under the box you get the main instruction manual which you can go through, and above that the storage pouch instead of a hard case. Now the build quality of this surprised me to quite an extent. Although it has an all plastic body, it doesn't feel cheap from any angle. The overall size is quite small and you can easily put it in your pocket when not in use. Although I recommend you to attach the tripod and use the gimbal for a better grip. The buttons are also of good quality, the power button on the right and the camera shutter button that you can also use to start or stop a video recording. Now both these buttons also work as shortcuts to various features that I'll explain later in this video. You get a joystick on the top to manually change the camera angle. You get the battery indication light here, the power indication light that also flashes differently for shooting modes when activated. On the left side, the zoom in and zoom out slider, which I have used the least on this. And on the right side, the USB Type-C charging slot. So before starting the device, make sure you unlock everything from its position. There are 3 locks that need to be unlocked, and once you do that, there is no need to lock it again. Because according to me, this is the main one here. Just loosen this and you'll be able to use the gimbal, and remember to tighten it before attaching your smartphone, and you can follow the same process to close it, but make sure to do all of this only when the device is powered off. Now before you activate the device, make sure to download the Hohem Pro app, without which the gimbal won't get activated. Complete all the registration, and once you've done all that, carefully attach your smartphone to the holder and make sure the weight is kind of equally distributed. Make sure to tighten the lock on the side. Then hold the power button for around 2 to 3 seconds until you feel a vibration. Select the Scan Gimbal Bluetooth option in the Hohem Pro app and it will be discoverable in the Bluetooth menu. Once that is done, your gimbal is ready to use. If you double tap the power button, it will auto-calibrate itself in case you lose the direction. If you single tap it, then you can switch from landscape to portrait mode. These controls were very handy for me. Now you can use the Hohem Pro app or you can even use your native camera app. But from the Hohem app you get these extra features that suits the purpose of this gimbal. But at the end of the day, it's completely up to you. So in the camera app, on the right side you get all the added features. You get filters to choose from and also gesture control. On the left side you get the basic camera controls like flash, front camera. Then this is the face and object tracking mode, where the camera can also move according to the movement of the face or object. On top you get the battery indication of the smartphone and the gimbal both. The F here is for focus and Z represents zoom in case you want to control them manually. If you jump into the settings of the camera parameters, the first is video resolution, where you can shoot only up to 4K 30 FPS. No 60 FPS, but you can do that from the smartphone camera app. Then you get the photo size, timer, grid, zoom speed depending on how you like it. Then you get this very important professional mode, which is like a manual mode in case you don't like those drastic auto exposure changes while recording. And below that you get lens selection. And yes, with the Hohem camera app you do get the option of choosing your main lens or the wide angle lens for shooting videos. So talking about the gimbal settings, The first and important option is the working mode, in which you get 4 other options, out of which the first is the pan tilt follow. This option is mainly used when you want to shoot an entire area without focusing on a particular object or person. The next is pan follow. You can use this if you want to focus on one particular object or person while moving around them to give that cinematic feel. Then you get the all lock option, where all the movements of the gimbal are locked, and you can use this option for showing a straight view shot or maybe a basic walk. The last is the all follow mode, where all the motors will just follow the direction where the gimbal is directed at. Now there are even shortcuts for all these 4 options, but trust me, they are so complicated, don't even bother trying to by heart them. The remaining options are follow speed, where you can determine the speed while tilting the gimbal. Then you can even decide what the joystick should do when you move it left or right, along with the speed as well. So getting back to the features, on the right side you'll see the basic video and photo mode, along with slow motion, time lapse and moment. In the moment option, you get various styles like the famous Inception mode with rotation options. Then the dolly zoom mode, which is very famous in Hollywood movies. I had noticed this feature in the horror movie Insidious. Then you also get fantastic rotation, smart motion time lapse and panoramic video, with the option of adding music in the background as well. When it comes to stabilization, many users have said that it's not as smooth as the DJI Osmo Mobile 4 or the Zhiyun Smooth 4. Maybe, but I don't think so it's that bad. With a little practice, you could definitely get used to a gimbal like this and achieve best results possible. So I tested the stabilization and you won't have any troubles. You get clean stabilized shots while walking, running, or even while doing the ninja walk. Now all of this what I just told you are some of the basic features and stuff. Any one of you could figure that out. The only way to find out the true capability of the Hohem iSteady X smartphone gimbal is to shoot outdoors. Now these are not some of the best shots, obviously because I was testing the gimbal at that time. But with a little practice and some research and development, you could definitely get better results than this. In fact, I recommend you to buy a budget gimbal if you have never used a smartphone gimbal before, so that you can practice with this as much as you can and then later on invest in an expensive smartphone gimbal. Now there are some minor drawbacks about the Hohem iSteady X, and the first is that they have not provided a hard carry case, which is very important for a product like this. If you have a camera bag, then you can fit this in there. The second minor drawback is the battery life. Now this comes with 8 hours battery life, which is the least in comparison to all the other smartphone gimbals out there. But the plus point here is that you can charge the gimbal and use it at the same time. But the bigger concern here, guys, is not the battery life of the gimbal, but the battery life of your smartphone. As we all know that camera apps drain a lot of battery. So make sure you charge your phone to 100% before you venture out for a shoot. So my final verdict is that 5,990 Indian rupees is perfect for a budget smartphone gimbal like this. And if you are a beginner, then buying this makes a lot of sense unless you can afford to jump into that 12 to 13,000 price range. So my overall rating for the Hohem iSteady X would be 4 out of 5. Guys, if you like this video or if you found it informative, then hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get updates about my new videos. Stay safe, take care of yourself. Till then, see you next time.